Oh, David, thank you. Colleen, awesome, awesome, awesome hug.
I'll take it.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Whew. Boy, now I have to follow that with something interesting. So, I am so excited today that I am going to attempt to combine the meaning of life, Christian mysticism, and my teenage diary. So let's see if I can mush that all together. Last week we were having a discussion after the service, and it came up about, how do we sort of decide what the meaning of our life is about? And some of you are familiar in the prosperity class. We try to have a vision, and we say in present tense what we want our life to be about. And in Unity, we add a little caveat. When we talk very specifically about what we want our life to be about, we put it on our vision card and we add this or something better. Now, last Sunday we had a conversation about whether or not that was kind of a weaselly thing to say at the bottom of your vision card. Well, I think I want this, but if there's something better, I'm going to hold out for it. I thought about it as my daughter showed me this thing called Tinder. Do you know it's some sort of a dating thing? And you just click people by. All you do is see their picture. If you're a left, they are gone forever. And if they're a right, you like them. What's up with that? It's like this or something better. So I thought about, how is this? Is this something important when we are thinking about what we want our life to be about? Do we need to add this caveat, this or something better? And so it turned out that when my daughter was in town, we were looking through some old papers, and I came across my diary from when I was 18 years old. Who was that girl? I don't know who she was, but it was interesting and fascinating, almost like reading about somebody else. It was the period of time right after I had graduated from high school and right before I was enrolled in a local university. I was supposed to start college in September. And so I'm reading about these things that I had actually forgotten about that had happened that summer. Some I will not be sharing with you today. But others were very interesting to me. And one of them was that I knew growing up that I had this incredible desire to travel. I wanted to go all over the world. I wanted to meet all sorts of new people. I just thought that would be such a fantastic way to live my life. And so it turned out that I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and about 30 minutes from my house was the place where American Airlines was headquartered. And this was 1975, and the idea about being a flight attendant was so awesome. You got to wear all these little fancy clothes, and you got to date pilots, and you got to travel all over the world and meet people. So I had this secret desire that I actually wanted to be a flight attendant. So I got all ready, got all prettied up, found out the process. You had to go at a certain time and be there at 10 o'clock, and they had something that they would tell you about how they went and interviewed people at that time. So in my diary, I'm talking about how important I picked out the exact, mini skirt I was going to wear. Now, this is 1975. I also had these little strappy disco shoes. They were so cute. I just knew that if I wore those and the right dress and my hair was just perfect, I was going to get this job as a flight attendant. And so I drove over to American Airlines headquarters, and I went in the front door, and there are 200 girls waiting to be interviewed for 5 spots. Well, I can tell you, at 18, I thought I was all that, and I'm not going to have any problem beating out 195 women for these spots. Remember, I got my cute disco shoes on, so there's nothing that can get by me. So it turns out that the process was that they would take 25 girls at once, and they would put you in a room, and you were supposed to, they'd ask you some questions, and you were supposed to answer them and have some sort of discussion. Well, I thought, I'm smart. I'll know the answer to any question they have. And so we got in the room and they asked some questions, and it maybe took about 30 minutes. And then they took us back, and then they didn't pick me. And I was kind of devastated. I thought I'd be a great flight attendant. So I left. But I found out that at that time, you had to wait 30 days before they would allow you to be interviewed again. So I waited 30 days. I got a new pair of shoes and a new outfit. And 30 days later, I went back over there, and I just knew that I was going to nail it. They take 25 girls. They put us all in a room. They ask us some questions. And 30 minutes later, I didn't get chosen. So now I'm ready to figure this whole process out. Something is missing that I don't know, and I am smart, and I'm going to figure out how to be a flight attendant for American Airlines. So I asked around and found somebody who knew the process, and it turns out that in order to be a flight attendant, you're supposed to be sensitive and caring about the feelings of others. I had no idea. I had been going in that room with 25 other women, and I wanted to be the one that shined. I wanted to have the best answer. I didn't care about any of those other women. Apparently, I was supposed to care about them. So now I was ready. This was my third time. 30 days later, I go in, bought a new pair of shoes, got a new dress on, but now I know I'm supposed to be caring and sensitive. So they take 25 of us in there, and we go in a room. And I'm looking around, and there's other women in the room with me. And I'm going to try to figure out how to be caring and kind and sensitive to them. So they ask us some questions, and I turn to the girl next to me, and I say, "What do you think, my dear?" And then I turned to the other person and said, "I love that dress you have on." And I thought I was doing such a great job. And in fact, I got picked. And then I went to the next round of interviews. And I didn't get another one. I don't think I was really very good at faking, caring, and being sensitive. So I was devastated. This has sort of been a dream of mine all summer. I didn't really want to go to university. I'd picked some local college. I was going to live at home. I didn't know what my major was. And now I'd gone through all this work and effort of trying to be a flight attendant, and I had completely failed. And it was going to take me a long time to understand how to be caring and sensitive. So it was interesting in my diary reading what was going on in my mind at that time, and how I was making decisions about what I wanted my life to be about. And mostly it was about outward appearances. I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to be seen as a certain kind of person. I wanted to be fun and a jet setter and all these things that had to do with what was happening outside of me. And so I'm reading these words and knowing, in fact, that that's who I was when I was 18 years old. And as I was reading my diary, I recalled one day that this had happened, but I didn't remember the whole story. I had gone to school in September, and about 3 weeks in, I didn't want to do this anymore. I just said I want to give up. I actually went to the registrar's office and found out what it would cost if I withdrew from school. Now, there was a boy involved. My boyfriend had gone to the University of Texas, and at the time it seemed like a really good idea that I just didn't have to go to school, and then maybe I could go to University of Texas and I could go be with my boyfriend, and that would be much more wonderful. And I don't even know if I want to go to college, and I don't know really what's going on in my life. And what has fascinated me when I was reading my diary is I had completely forgotten this one fact. I'd gone to the registrar's office. I'd asked what it would cost in order to withdraw from school. And I went home. And I only told one person that I had done that day. I told my older sister. And she had gotten married when she was 17 and had 2 children before she was 20. And when I told my older sister that I was going to withdraw from college in order to go follow a boy to Texas, the University of Texas, she begged me, she pleaded with me. She said she was willing to do whatever it took to convince me to stay in school. I'd completely forgotten that the reason I didn't leave was because of her. She was willing to care about me. And I had forgotten what a big difference she had made in my life. And so going from outward appearances to going to internal inspiration and knowing that each of us have this ability to have such an incredible impact on each other about what do we want our lives to be about, and when your life is going wrong, when you can share that with someone and they can support you and care about you, is such a huge opportunity that we all have. That was in my diary, and I hadn't remembered. But what was interesting is what happened after that. I stayed in school. I realized that if something was going to happen, I was going to have to do something differently. And I applied for a small college in the Pacific Northwest. Now, it all still had to do with a boy, but I really wanted to go there. It was the best school in the United States for international relations. I wanted to travel the world and I wanted to meet new people. And so I went there, and 2 years later, I was selected for an overseas program and got to go to India for 6 months and meet amazing people and have amazing experiences. And it was all because I was such a terrible person for interviewing to be a flight attendant. If that had happened, maybe I would still be standing here, but maybe not. That failure, my sister's encouragement, me realizing that if my life was going to have meaning, that I was going to have to find it for myself, is what ended up getting me on the path that led me to right here. In fact, this inner inspiration of coming here and being involved in Unity enabled me to think that maybe I want to do something spiritual. Having my daughter be raised in Unity and what we could do, what she would do with her life because of these amazing principles of inspiration and encouragement that we can give each other. And so the last part of the story is that my daughter had been raised knowing that I'd had this wonderful trip to India when I was 21 years old. And we had always planned on going back so that I could share those moments with her. And we did. 35 years after I had been there, we went back to India. And on the plane ride, we're leaving Delhi. The plane has not even taken off of the runway yet. My daughter turns to me and says, "I like India. I'm going to live here." And she does. And so this place of inspiration, I am so grateful for you all here, because we are all here to love and encourage and inspire and support each other. It's kind of like we're spiritual flight attendants. We have this ability to notice each other and care about each other, and to find that way to not only inspire ourselves by being here, but maybe to inspire one other person. And so this last week, Richard Fawcett, who is a great mentor of mine, turned me on to a contemporary Christian mystic named Douglas Harding. And I read everything Richard gave me, which was quite a bit of stuff. And Douglas Harding has this idea that we have this appearance, this outward appearance of who we are, but it is not the whole of what life is about. That we are also the manifestation of the source. That we are where light shines through. We are where God shines through. And so we can decide to live our life in ways of outward appearances, or we can decide to live our life with inner inspiration, which is also a good thing. But we have this incredible source within us that is God. I thought it was wonderful that Douglas Harding quoted Meister Eckhart, who was a Christian monk from the 1300s. And this is the translation of what Meister Eckhart said. Get on your jumping shoes and jump into God. Now, I think about how bizarre that must have been for a monk to say that in the 1300s. And unfortunately, he did get labeled as a heretic. But you know the reason. Because with prayer and meditation, Meister Eckhart had had this direct experience of God. And he realized that it wasn't about the church, but about his ability to manifest the source through him. And that was so powerful that they had to label him a heretic. Because that's the power that we all have. And once we know that, we start to live life in a different way. Just sitting here and looking at your faces and knowing that you are the place where God shines through. God and you are one, not two. God needs you where and as you are. You need not fear, nor fret, nor plan. When you can be relaxed and free, God can work his plan of love through thee. And that's the power that we all have, to go from outward appearances to inner inspiration and then go directly to the source, the power of our being, the reason, the meaning of being alive. And so I understand this statement so much more deeply. This or something better. Because we have no idea what wonderful things could be in store. So let's take those thoughts into meditation.
There is a sacred place, a secret meeting. So as we take this precious time to just simply be, again with some slow, deep breaths. Taking this precious opportunity to tap into that innate source of God within us. Reflecting on the words of Douglas Harding, "You are divine at center, human in appearance. Seeing who you really are doesn't mean you no longer are aware of your appearance. But now you are aware that inwardly you are God. You can awaken to the power behind you, within you, around you. Safety, the source of inspiration and guidance at the heart of your human life. This source enables you to be yourself even more so and to manifest your special gift and purpose. So as we sit in the silence, you can sit and simply listen to the divine source and the divine guidance within us. And as we come back to this time and this place, feel free to make these words your own. I am the place where God shines through. God and I are one, not two. God meets me where and as I am. I need not fear, nor fret, nor plan. When I can be relaxed and free, God can work its plan of love through me. And so it is. The Father and I are one. The Father and I are one. Are one.
When